fun. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, Kyle.
Getting back into it, I love it.
Okay, so we are
Yes.
MF Live. So I'm going to. So for the stream, Tailspire finally released their Hero Forge integration, and I have everybody's mini. I am pretty freaking excited about that. Windowed mode, no. Oh my god, Viking, you're insane, as always. So let me add another screen here. Game detect, I guess. Let's just call it Tailspire, make things easy. So since Tailspire added that Hero Forge integration, my screen should be black now. Let's do game capture. The name is already in use. Tailspire S then. Come on! Okay, we're not going to do that. Let's just do the center monitor. Keep things easy. Okay, so now the stream can see. So I am going to show you guys Tailspire. And oh my god, my computer, it's not even threatening to lag. So if you guys, can you guys see my screen?
Fuck that dragonborn.
Yeah, so I had Arkul and Char here looking down on everybody's old figures. So I'm not gonna throw these away. I still want them. I'll probably use them later as your guys' like evil twins or something.
Oh no.
So they can all go over here. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. I'm really, really excited for this. Like unnaturally. So Asher, Char. Let me snap these figures down. Oh, it's this tab actually. Okay, Felix and Harratuk. Oh, I don't know what that icon means. Oh no, it crashed! Come on back. Oh no.
Hi.
That's an auspicious start. Shh.
Your computer's performing wonderfully.
Yes, it is. Not even struggling.
Dale's struggling.
Okay. So there you guys are. Oh. So Alena, Angene, Erevan, Karl.
I can't see anything.
And Harratuk, you're right there. Is it not stream?
He's
Oh.
downloading us. I can see it on the stream.
Sorry, let me get this back up. Yeah, the game crashed.
Aha.
Okay. So, Harratuk, Karl, Erevan, Angene, and Alena. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh, baby, that looks delicious.
So that's interesting. So it doesn't copy your bases over, like circular versus rectangular versus hexagonal, but it has your base features.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
But oh my goodness gracious.
Skulls,
Look at these. Oh my goodness. Alena. I still like that blue choice. That was good.
Yeah, I do too.
And let me get a little closer. Actually, I have to. I can't. That's right. Our resident BFG. Erevan. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, the hook's really good.
I love the cigar. It's so funny.
Yeah, they have a lot of nice little features.
Ooh, too big. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There they are, my boys and Alena. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to put the other guys in too, just so I can get the whole picture. Did I put Char? Oops, yes I did.
You can't hear Discord on the screen. Just you.
That's weird. Maybe I have to turn it up. Can you guys do a check?
Check 1 2.
Check.
1 2.
It
Hello,
says the sound
hello.
is going through.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Okay.
Yeah, just switch
Huh.
this. Can you still not hear it?
I think I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's faint.
Okay, I can keep turning. It looks like it's really loud on my end. Properties, no.
Oh,
Advanced.
alright. Sounds better now.
So I can turn it up some. I don't know what the current volumes need to be in order to be more audible. And here is group 2. Oh my goodness gracious, I love that red. Char. Felix. Dude, his cracks me up. It's Colonels. And this is like one of like 4 poses that John wants to have for Rigurd. He has that one where that says I think that's battle ready. He has one he calls 4x4 mode, where he's like crawling on the ground. He's got one like by the campfire, like sleeping and stuff. Dude, I'm just so fucking thrilled. But
Oh, John.
so we are just going to. Okay, so let's close out Tailspire and let's get the session going, shall we? So I'm not sharing my screen, right? Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, you guys your characters had just had somewhat of a rough night as they became their character classes, finally, after all this time in the world and in session. For the last episode, as commoners, session 10, our traveling team began the session within the deep caves of the House of the Mad Mage. With cunning, they were able to find the final chamber where Beskull and his friend Grug were attempting to summon what they declared to be an angel. This celestial being would come to their plane and aid in the fight against the slave rings within Illui Vale. With the first summoning ritual having failed, Harratuk and Alena tackled the 2 mages just as their old nemeses Chet and Brody entered the scene with their monolithic-sized party member, Keith. The calamitous collision went on as Erevan and Alena went unconscious for the first time, and Angene scoring double knockouts, with Antra finishing Keith on top of the altar with unnatural levels of strength. This final move acted as the final ingredient that was necessary for the angel to be summoned forth. In pulsing red light, the creature was born amidst these strange objects that rose within the room as this creature with horns on its head, enter the space. With joy, the two mages agreed to come peacefully with the team to be returned to Ilui Vale, where they were, you guys had decided to turn them over to Archificus as opposed to turning them over to Lord Baskins, despite the adamant warnings from Lord Baskins about what was to follow. With the departing warning from Antra to beware one's actions for money, they separated and prepared to begin their journey outwards towards Fury Keep with their full character kits provided by Archificus. We begin this session on the morning of Monday the 14th, the night after your private evolutions. So, for this day, you guys went back to the East Arc, just to keep things simple, went back to the East Arc to... sorry, I gotta move my camera a little bit. You guys went back to the East Arc into DeLorean's plantation for one final night. He tells you guys he's found a buyer for his land, and the deal is done. So as you all spend your nights together, sorry, I'm gonna be annoyingly coughing intermittently just because of COVID stuff. You guys can decide if that night you would have maybe joined together in someone else's room, or if you were in your own private room, that's fine as well. That decision can really be yours. So as you guys awaken on this new day, bright and early, the sun is out, sun is shining, you guys can come downstairs and find that DeLorean is out on the backside of his plantation, just tending to a few things, where normally you guys had heard animals kind of cooing and making their cooing and making their animal noises in the background. This particular day is very quiet. You can see from your windows, from if you were to look, whatever, that he is tending to his emptied gardens and vegetation spaces, and has cleaned up all of his animal pens, which are also now empty, and he's just doing some final things around the yard outside. So you guys, I'll just to get the ball rolling, since all of you are here, we'll start with Karl. So Karl is the first to wake up. If there's anything you'd like to do, yeah.
Start looking around for breakfast.
Oh yeah, as a typical DeLorean fashion, he's got breakfast laid out, and you can see a number of his bags out by the door, ready to go. A lot of I should say actually, his kitchen and everything there, the only dishes out that you can see are the ones with food on them. It seems like he got everything ready for you guys and packed up the rest.
Hot dang. Morning then. Been busy, have you?
You talking to DeLorean?
Aye.
Okay, yeah, he's outside and he hears you come down. Gives a little wave through the doorway, and you can kind of hear him. He sounds a little low energy. Sorry. Sounds a little low energy and is just ready to go.
I'll just sit down and wait for other people to show up.
Harratuk is next up on the list.
I awake.
Is that all he does?
He goes and, I guess, get some breakfast.
Okay, so Harratuk is the next one to join you, Karl. And then Alena, Angene, and Erevan come in their own time. So, most noticeably will be the difference with Alena. You guys can see that she is noticeably taller than when you last saw her.
What happened to you?
What do you mean? I feel the same? What?
You grew a little.
Did I?
That don't happen to me.
I don't know, I'm gonna start checking myself with, like, the doorway, just kind of, like, sizing myself up.
Am I losing my mind?
So first, Karl looks shorter, but yeah, as Alena kind of like she finds herself as she's waking up and starting to realize what's going on the new day, that she's a lot closer to things that were prior more above her perspective.
I can touch the doorway now without jumping to the top.
So, does anyone else have strange dreams, or is that just me?
I'm gonna walk downstairs and he's like looking at his arm and he's like, did you guys draw something on my arm? Like, I can't get it off. It's really bothering me. Like, I tried washing it. I'm not dirty. What's going on? And you see like these tattoos going up his arm. They're black in the daylight, and in the dark, they kind of have like a soft green glow to them.
Can you say that color one more time?
Soft green color.
Soft green. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of like the color of his skin, but yeah, glowing. And they've got like they're like at right angles, but they're kind of tribal. Yeah. Anyways.
No, you can describe it.
Oh,
if you have a specific image, yeah, by all means.
Well, I'll find the image that I was thinking of because I don't have it on my computer. I'll share it on my phone when I get that back. So,
Sure.
But yeah, anyways, I'm just he's like scratching at it, like, get off. And then he looks up and he's like, whoa, Alena, you're much taller.
Am I? I don't feel taller.
You reckon that thing was diseased?
I don't know what disease would make you taller, but I guess it's
Giantism,
possible.
obviously.
I don't really want to be a giant, but I don't know. I don't feel any different. Is there anything else? Like, do I look any different other than my height?
Maybe more confident and charismatic.
So I will make this Kyle's choice. If I guess the only thing that would really maybe or maybe not change with her. So her hair length. So if you want, her hair can be proportional to the growth that she saw. So it would kind of be like that same like length down her back, or if that would be like maybe it would look like she got a little trim or something. That's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would grow longer. It definitely wouldn't get shorter.
Yeah, sure. So it's the same length proportionally. Yep. You got what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my beard got bushier.
And you
Feels a little thicker.
You can hear DeLorean kind of just like chuckling in the background, like, oh, these crazy kids today. Is there anything Erevan, as he gets up with the rest of the team, is there anything he would like to do? And I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I'm trying to get dice and not disturb the stream.
Uh-oh.
You said that we're like at a place that has like a bar top and everything?
DeLorean's kitchen. Yep.
Okay. Probably just go and sit at the bar top with my hat and stuff on.
Sure, and he's got his I can never remember. He took a pistol, right?
Yeah, I have a pistol.
Okay, yeah. So you guys, oh gosh.
I don't think any of them will know what a pistol is.
So Each of
My-
you, as Erevan comes down, and Karl's familiar with firearms, yeah. Maybe not up close and personal, but he's familiar with the concept. So yeah, Erevan comes down, and you guys are looking at his belt like, wait a minute. That ain't a sword or an axe. The heck is that thing? So Erevan comes down, and it's, he's not like flashing it or anything, but it's on his belt, and it's certainly noticeable.
What's that?
Is there hash browns or something available? No.
Sure, there's a hash brown.
Yes.
One brown that has been hashed.
Having to adjust people's volume. Sorry, I'm not sure if somebody asked a question.
Yeah, Harratuk asked what Erevan has on his belt.
It's a pistol. Put one of these, and I hold up one of the round shots in it, and I can shoot it at somebody
It's
from
It's
far
how-
away.
it's how tall?
What?
You said pistol. Like,
No.
what's a pistol?
No, it's like a flintlock.
You'll find out quite soon.
What's a flintlock?
Is it something that sparks when you try and unlock it?
It's like a bow, but faster. It shoots further away.
I'll just put it this way. It's a boomstick.
It's a boomstick. Ooh, I like that.
That goes boom.
Goes boom. Okay. I can get with that.
And if I'm aiming it at somebody when it goes boom, they go ow. Or just fall over.
Ideally both.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys sorry. As you guys are seeing each other for the first time in this kind of new light, you hear the distinct kind of like clopping. You hear the distinct sound of multiple horses kind of clopping down the road coming towards Delurian's plantation, and you guys can see him out of the back door of the kitchen, and he's sweeping, and it connects with him too. Stops, and he's facing away from you guys, so you can see him from the back of his self, and he you can see that he puts his hands on the broom, just looks around, takes a big breath, something that I wish I could do right now. Picks it up, sets it against the house on the outside, and you guys can see him now. He's a little not sad. It's more of a contemplative look, as he's playing the years through his mind, as here's where I've always eaten breakfast, and there's where my guests have always sat, and here's the strangest group of people I ever met. Well, that'll be Sindri. Are you all ready to go?
I think so, sir.
Aye.
Yep.
Here's to new adventures, huh?
Oh yeah. It's been good to me here, but I think I've served my time and off to better pastures. Maybe not greener. I've heard it's quite cold over there, but better nonetheless. And you guys can hear the horses pull up, and whoa! Sindri, you can hear him jump down, and he comes in the house. Well, good morning. Are we all prepared for our journey ahead?
I'm all together.
Excellent. And he's been friends with Delurian for a long time, so he has an idea of what he might be going through. Come now, old friend. I think you'll like this coach. I thought, and he's like approaching the door as he's like talking to you guys. I thought we would travel in style. Pushes the door open. So you guys can see it as he opens the door, and light rushes in from outside. he has quite a large stagecoach. He's got 6 horses at the head of it. Sorry, excuse me. He has 6 horses ready to pull this thing, each of their own different coloration. Some of them are that chestnut with like white foot kind of color. One of them's black with white spots. One is white with some gray on the nose, and so on. They're not wearing anything fancy or what are those called? The Clydesdales? Nothing fancy along those lines. But he's got them all hitched up, and he's got their feed bags ready to go. The coach itself, like from horses to back, it's not fancy or noble like compared to the ones that you guys had seen in the Mages District, where they were gilded, made with premium paints and colors. His is rather bland looking, like it's been used for a long time, but with good reason. You guys know what Sindri does and how much he packs back and forth, so you're pretty sure he knows what he's doing. The front two, so there's the stagecoach itself, and then there are 2 seats at the front where he and another can sit, and just behind them and raised a little bit there is another bench where 2 more people can sit. And then the actual stagecoach itself looks like it's about a double long. So there is a cabin for 4 people to sit, 2 facing that way, 2 facing that way, and plenty of legroom for the minotaur. And then there is another one just behind that one, enough for 4 total. So this thing can carry 12 people total comfortably, I would say.
Sheesh.
Nice.
This isn't my first trip down to Fury Keep, and certainly not with a load this large. But I figured might as well get you guys comfortable. No need to walk all that way.
Well, I appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go ahead and reach for my stuff and put it on there, and then offer to help DeLorean with his stuff. If
Yeah,
he
he's-
needs it loaded.
He's like picking up his bags, and he sees you come over. Oh, thank you. Yeah, has no trouble handing stuff over to you.
Right.
He does a quick head count. Karl, Harratuk, Erevan, Alena, and who did I not say? Angene. Shall we? And he goes into the front coach, I guess. Front and back coach, I guess, is how we'll refer to those. So they don't really seem to care who goes where, except for the fact that Sindri's driving. But he's got 3 up by him, and then there's 3 in the front coach where DeLorean is, and then the 4 in the back. So since there's only 5 of you guys, plenty of room for everyone. And all your stuff is packed up as well.
Angene will go and sit up front in the behind Sindri.
Okay. The rear shotgun, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. And so you guys can pick where you want to sit and all that. So the travel sequence, since you guys, and I agree this was a good idea, since you guys thought it was a better idea to have one session as the travel, I'm going to treat it like an elongated night shift. So one person will have their set of days where, sorry, I'm shaking my screen. They'll have their set of days where like their perception is the check for whatever goes on, and then that can also be your guys's, like, if there's an RP moment that you want to lead, that'd probably be the best time to bring it up. Not that you can't bring it up later, of course, but that would just be like the natural opening. So there'll be, I broke it up to 4 sequences, just so you guys know what's going on, and that'll be the session. And at the end of it, you guys will be pulling up on Fury Keep on, it's behind my mug. In-game time, you guys will arrive in Fury Keep on July 2nd. So for those of you who may or may not have important dates between the 14th and the 2nd, take stock of the time frames.
I know that's a session I'll miss next week or 2 weeks.
You're gonna miss 12. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after. But
Yeah, right. So, as you guys all hop aboard and prepare to head westward, or mostly south of westward towards Fury Keep, you guys go through the East District, and you mostly stay on the main roads. You guys don't go near the back roads where you guys had first gone to the tavern you guys had visited with the, I believe he was half-orc off the top of my head, with the other half-orc who helped you guys find Jiggy, as well as give you a lowdown on a little bit of what was going on in the area. Godwin was his name. You guys pass his establishment and sort of see some of the other things that maybe could have been visited later on, as Sindri is explaining, like, just the way he goes. So he goes, yeah, it's a pretty easy trip. We'll start off through the West Arc here, past some of those areas, and I'm taking a back road because I don't want to deal with certain nobility. And then we'll be off. Let me think. First few days should be rather uneventful. The end of the first week into the trip, we'll be crossing a few rivers. The next day, you'll notice the weather start to turn as we get closer towards the mountains. Maybe see some of the train tracks. And if there's no further complications, then we'll be there within 2 weeks. So settle in.
Splendid.
So as you guys begin to travel outwards towards Fury Keep, those of you sitting with DeLorean, whoever it is at this time, you can see he is noticeably nervous about leaving. He seems to be a little on edge as you guys are traveling outwards. Takes as long of a glance back at his plantation as he can, and as soon as it's out of view, because you guys know he's got an extended driveway with the arching over tree lines on both sides. He sits back with another big breath. As you guys, for the first few hours, travel through the East Arc, seeing everything you had seen up to that point. Sindri lets you guys know when you guys arrive at the Central Plaza, which I think you guys have seen. I think you guys went there when you went to the North Arc. So you guys can follow, like, where you would have gone to the North Arc. He keeps going on. He stays straight on the path and goes through the West Arc. So most notably, the West Arc, aesthetically and the general appearance, is the same as the East Arc. The difference that most jumps out at you guys, so where in the East Arc and the North, mostly the East actually, each arc kind of has their own little quirks. The East Arc had a variety of races in it. You guys met Godwin the half-orc, Sindri and Ula are gnomes themselves. Aaliyah was a halfling. There was a very wide variety, whereas the North Arc was, I believe, less so than that, but they still had their mixtures, but without the slavery bent, really. And the East Arc, right off the bat, you guys can mainly see humans and elves, or half-elves. You can kind of just see those main two. But where you do see the elves, Erevan is pretty... what's the word? It's pretty obvious to Erevan that he's the only wood elf, or at least non-sort of fair skin elf, similar to like Alena, Lord Baskins, the few elves that you guys have met. It seems to be more consistent along those lines, and you guys know there are other kinds of elves as well, but none of them are present here. And as you guys are continuing on, Sindri just he does it quietly as you guys go through. whoever has highest perception, doesn't matter. You guys would notice that a lot of the people here seem to be in smaller and very visually consistent groups. So what I mean by that is to literally break it down as simply as possible, is there's like groups who are wearing mostly red, or there are groups who are wearing mostly blue or green or such, or a variety of colors, or maybe they'll have a similar hat. And as Sindri kind of waits for you guys to get a little bit past some of these groups, he goes, this is the more political or politicized area of the pie that makes up Iloit Vale, and that he calls this their in-group versus out-group differentials. But it's something that you guys aren't going to have to deal with, because he presses on. So visually, the town is very much the same as the East Arc as you guys continue to push out of the West Arc and move beyond the city borders. And if you guys remember from session 0, before we started, beyond the West Arc, further west, are the trash pits. So you guys first, as soon as you break that final sort of row of livable spaces or office spaces, whatever they might be, this stench just surrounds you guys. This awful smell of rubbish and charcoal gloriously set on fire. You guys can see that there are numerous cranes that move slowly over each of these pits, picking up rubbish and then dropping it before over-encompassing flames burn everything within. And there's a slight change in the energy in the air as you guys can, so let me the only seating I'm going to ask really, would anybody else other than Angene be up top with Sindri?
I would at some point.
Yeah, me too.
I think Elena's in the back.
Okay, at some point, like...
Girls in the back.
At some point, like, within the start of the journey, or, like days later?
Later.
Start.
Okay, Erevan, would he be up top, you think? Okay, so...
Oh, sorry, I accidentally hit the mute button. I would be in the back, in the back of the cart.
Okay, so Angene and Karl at this time are up top, and well, I'll just say you guys are both in the back sitting together. Why not? That's pretty funny. You guys can hear Sindri go, "Oh my!" So it's pretty obvious that going through this way is not necessarily part of the main road where you guys could see the main road literally just like circumvents this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Sindri pushed through. Not that there isn't road for it, it's not smoothed over, it's not made for carts, certainly of this size, so it is a little bumpy. But you can hear him make this exclamation, and he tries to very subtly, to Karl and Angene, point out forward. Do you see what I see? And both of you make perception checks for me. Let me see how far you can see.
Oh, what's my wisdom score now?
It's all changed.
I don't remember offhand.
3.
That is a 13.
Okay, so Angene does not...
I'm sorry. That's a 15. I didn't realize I had perception.
Okay, so Angene takes him a second before he sees what's going on. Karl, no idea. He's like, what, the rocks? Yeah. Sindri he nods forward, and as the sun is cresting late afternoon in the day, between like the haziness that rises from the heat of the sun basking down in this completely uncovered ground, so you can see it's all dusted and virtually no plant life. On the horizon, Angene is just able to differentiate out Lord Baskins. He is sitting on his rock mount, which is kind of what gave him a bit of camouflage. And next to him is his commander in his black feathered armor, but just those two. And Sindri, he kind of points out like, yep, he is on the very last possible brick of Illoway Vale. How he knew we were going to go this way is beyond me.
That's awkward.
And there's really nowhere to go at this point in the trash pit area. You guys can see there's like housing infrequently sort of spotted around the trash pits. No form or function whatsoever. Just kind of, if we can fit something there, that's where it'll go. It has that aesthetic around the entire area. And Sindri, you can tell he's looking for literally anywhere to go, but there's no turn. Certainly not a wide enough road to turn around 6 horses. Because you guys are basically pacing yourselves between trash pits at this point, and the workers are a little annoyed that you're taking time out of their day. and Lord Baskins is sitting atop his mount, just waiting. And Sindri, he has to stop to greet Lord Baskins. Good evening, Lord Baskins. As you can plainly see, we are looking to make our way out of your trash pits, if you would permit us to pass. Yeah, and everybody is like... and Sindri is, like, elbowing your knees, like, oh no.
When Erevan hears Lord Baskin's name, he draws his pistol to be ready.
Okay.
And it's already loaded.
Yeah, so DeLorean, like, looks down, and he's like...
I needed my finger.
Yeah, so Erevan, just slyly... for those of you who are in that same carriage as him, you can just hear that, like, metal on leather just being unsheathed. I do wish you a wonderful trip, Sindri, and DeLorean, of course. And you know, I wanted to leave you with a little gift before you go. It's nothing fancy, it's a saying they have over there, you know? Wouldn't want you to stick out like a sore thumb as the uncultured. And he can, like, see Harratuk's, like, now a little bit more muscled horns, like, sticking out of the window, like, looking at him. I would want you and your colorful assortment to be recognized as the rather barbaric heathens that you are. So when you're there, if you ever wish to have a guest enter your home, you simply look at them and go, entrez-vous. Oh, excuse me, how mistaken can I be? I meant entrez-vous. Of course I meant that. But no matter. I wish you all safe travels. And yeah, he starts to get out of your guys' way with his commander next to him as he's riding next to the cart. Don't stick your noses where they don't belong, because you never know what kind of trashy places you might find yourselves in. And Erevan, you specifically, and Lord Baskins, like, he gives you the dirtiest look. Erevan, make an insight check.
10.
10, okay. Erevan, there may have been a gesture that he did, that Lord Baskins did towards Erevan. He missed it. Whatever it was, he just, he was trying to, like, if I have to fire, like, I need to be ready. And then, like, he's at your window, and he slips by. And you guys immediately just hear Sindri, gets his horses moving again. And you guys make your first steps out of Ilui Vale towards Fury Keep.
I take a deep breath as we leave the area. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Sindri, he's like borderline like panic attack area. as soon as you guys like crest where Lord Baskins was just standing and waiting, he is like, I didn't need that. Like looking at Angene and Karl.
Sindri, why is that guy such a prick?
He's very well connected here, and he knew very well that your lot was against the slave rings, and I sense he was worried that you were going to try and do something against it. But maybe he's just making it known. I don't know.
Well, surely he was a prick before that.
I'm convinced. He hasn't been in the Vale all that long, at least has not been prominent. But did that sound weird to you? What he said?
A little bit of an undertone.
I'm trying to remember if Sindri... let's give Sindri a check.
Like, are we about to cross through like the trashy area, like the
Past
trash
it.
heaps and stuff?
Passed it.
We passed it already.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a large area. It covers a lot of square mileage. And sorry. Lord Baskins was literally sitting like on the very last possible patch of land that, you guys could Sindri would have told you that Lord Baskins runs the trash pits and that he owns that land and those people, actually. And
That's why he smells so bad.
and that he was standing on like the last possible square footage of that territory just to fuck with you guys one last time.
I'm gonna kind of the entrevue. Was that like just a Freudian slip, or is there like more to like he's like that's very weird, very specific that he said entre.
Insight.
Insight.
And if
is
he's
going to be
if he's like thinking that aloud,
yes.
okay, then
I'm like saying that to the three of us in the front.
okay,
Because
Karl, you can roll insight with him, or Angene can roll an advantage, either one.
that is a 21.
Okay, you don't need it.
Entrevue. What is Lord Trashkins talking about?
Lord Trashkins. Yeah,
I like
Oh,
that. That's a good one.
19 plus 3, so 22.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna think so for like, well, that couldn't have been an accident, right? And Karl's like, absolutely fucking not. So, yes. Between what you guys know about like Lord Baskins and the area and sort of what he's after, and you guys, I'm trying to think if it was. So when you guys returned after finding Beskal and Grug, you guys had gone to Archifagus' mansion, and you did specifically say you were talking with the things about Antra and what she had said in the caves, sort of in relation to her association with Lord Baskins, and how she said it would have been a better idea to turn this over to Archifagus. You guys, you said that you said it quietly, which you did, but there was another part. There was another person there who rolled very, very well, who was listening in on the conversation. who may have heard that, i.e. Lord Baskins. And I think now it's clicking to the two of you up front that, like, oh no.
Oh, fuck.
And that, if you remember, she had a very, I don't want to say somber, that's not quite the right tone. Stern, I would say. She had a very stern final warning to you guys to be careful what you do for money. And you are very, very sure that Lord Baskins, what he said, was not a mistake. And you have yet to hear Lord Baskins. I fumble my chat all the time just because I can't not. Lord Baskins is a very clear and a very concise speaker. You guys have yet to hear him stumble on anything. Like, now that you're thinking about it, like, wait a minute, this guy hasn't so much as cleared his throat. Oh, okay. What that means, you're not sure. But it likely not a positive thing. So with that, for the first few days of travel, which this part is part of it, actually, I'll give that to Angene and Karl, since Angene had a decent role for your guys' first few days of travel. And the journey to Fury Keep begins now. And with that, we are going to take a quick break. There's a few things I want to check on real quick. And let's say, okay, this timer is right. So it is 8:20 on my screen. If you guys, 10 minutes, we'll come back.
Cool.
Cool.
Sweet.
one. Oops, I need to be full screen for this. Bup, bup, bup. There we go. Okay. So, where we left off pre-break there, everybody has jumped aboard the carriage that does not have a name, so if you guys wanted to name it or something, that would be kind of fun.
Carriage McCarriage face.
The what?
Carriage McCarriage face.
So as you guys are aboard the carriage McCarriage face, heading on the way to Fury Keep, had a bit of an uncomfortable encounter with Lord Baskins and his commander, who I'm trying to remember. I think Ula told you told you his name, like way beyond.
The commander's name?
Yeah.
I thought Entree was the commander.
No.
No, Antra was the dwarf with the arms and like the veins and the eyes. The commander, he's the tall
He's an
and
absolute unit.
Okay.
he's not big like how Keith was. He's not like a thick boy, but he's in exquisite armor. And the kind of sword he has, the way he carries himself, it's visually apparent that this man or woman, you guys don't actually know, does not fuck around. Those who, and he's never, you've never seen him so much as unsheath his blade, and you're not really sure you want to. He looks like the type where he's one of those people who follows the belief where if you unsheath it, that is only going to be in a situation where you intend to use it. Maybe not where you guys want to be. But Sindri, he'd go, Ula should have told you his name. Yeah, that was Commander Salmond.
Salmon.
And
See, one of
Sindri,
those guys that can just like pull out the sword like and cut things.
check your foreskin, bro. Yeah, that one's for you, Christian.
Commander Salmon.
Check your ass hair.
Does he know Corporal Tuned?
Maybe. But yeah, so for the first few days, it is... Oh, I literally did. Okay, that's fine. This would go to the 18th. So from the 14th to the 18th, Karl and Angene are helping keep watch above the top of Carriage McCarriage Face. And the first few days are very pleasant as you guys are leaving the town and you guys get to see the natural countryside of the northeast side of the world. See if I have my map up, and I don't want it to be on stream. Yeah, as you guys are traveling across the northeast side of this, Sindri explains that this is a peninsula, rather. It is a very large one, and it doesn't experience many of the temperamental effects of being on a peninsula surrounded by water, because of its vastness, because of the density of its forests and so forth. It doesn't seem to have the same lake effect and those kinds of things. And you guys push westward for those first few days. Weather is perfectly fine. There looks to be some clouds that move just right over you guys, east to west, heading pretty much towards where you're going. But those first few days, relatively uneventful. You guys stop when the horses seem tired, they get their feed and their water, you guys stop and rest in camp. So for Angene and Karl, during these trips, either during the day or at night, is there anything you guys would want to do? Karl, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, I would just probably chat along the way because there's so much to see. I'm not used to seeing the countryside. And all
Yeah.
the changes.
This would be the most land Karl has ever seen. Like, the city, I feel like that would be an easier adjustment for him, just because, he's been around people. Packed like a tuna can, sure, but he's been around people. And in a city just feels kind of like inverse tunnels to him, in a way. But this is, you guys break out from the forestry. There are open plains, tall grass fields. This is the most open vastness Karl has ever experienced, surely. And it's beautiful.
So, this is what it's like to be above ground all the time.
Yeah, it's very pretty out here.
And Sindri is, like, insanely confused. What?
I'm from pretty far away, and spend most of my time digging underground. So this is all, it's beautiful. It's something I never thought I'd see. Never thought I'd get off my island.
And Sindri continues to look at you like, well, it's going to sound a bit rude, but you don't appear to be that young. Have you been underground this entire time?
On and off, mostly on. Work is life. At least in the culture where I'm from, that's it.
And you can see him, like, clearly taken aback from that, like, oh, well, that's quite sad, actually. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's family business. That's just how culture is where I'm from. Work is life.
And Sindri kind of gestures to, like, the cart and everything he's doing. He's like the horses, they're kind of going on their own. He's not really, like, tending to them every second of the drive. He's mostly been laid back, kind of holding the reins in one hand, and gestures to the reins like, oh, I understand that one. How about you, Angene?
Oh, well, the town I'm from is not very, I'm on the coast, so I've seen plenty of different types of features, but it is pretty here. It's very nice.
Yeah, for Angene, this is like, it's an ocean of trees and grass, which Angene, I wouldn't say he's never seen it, because there are areas around him that are densely forested.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say plains. He's never seen sprawling plains, because the land isn't perfectly smooth. Obviously, it climbs and it falls with the natural landscape. And there are moments where you guys hit a peak and you can see over the vast rolling plains all around you, as far as the horizon goes. And I think that would definitely be new to Angene.
Yeah, it's like an ocean, but made out of grass. It's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful almost all year round.
Oh, that's nice.
I've made many trips to Fury Keep.
As for what Angene will be doing, he is going to be. So the music that he kind of heard in his dream, he is going to kind of be fiddling around with it, because it's like echoing in his mind and he can't get rid of it. He has not just the fact that it was so strange, but he is kind of like this almost compulsion whenever he hears a new song to break it down, figure out how to play it back, and then play it back. And that's something that from a young age he's always done, because he grew up around music. So now it is interesting to him. So
Yeah.
he's just gonna, through the ride, he is going to be playing whenever they're around the campfire. He's going to be playing, just kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Give me 2 performance checks, not at advantage or anything, just the 2, and then tell me both of their results.
And performance is 5. So I have a 19 and a 23.
Okay, yes. So, Vinny, I don't know if you remember when we were first talking about Angana and sort of how his growth was going to come about. We talked a lot about how this sequence of music was going to be a reference more or less to sort of the Assassin's Creed memory sequence of how playing through it is how he develops it, and I'm gonna concede like 2 like little white markers like start to fill in across this entire chain as he'll start to play these certain notes, and I also need to look up something else very quickly. Yeah, Vinny, you know what I want to hear so bad. So as I'm gonna both nights, I'll say Alena can feel it. Well, you guys are barbarians and fighters. Alena can share this sensitivity, I'll say. So when he starts practicing his music very, very well, both nights, and this melody that comes out in his playing that you guys have never heard before, this beautiful playing. Alena is sensitive to a change in the air, and Angana is as well. You both can sense it. But whatever it is, the first night does not manifest. It just, like, Alena, like your hairs stand on edge a little bit as he's playing. Like wow, that's really good. And the second performance is even better. So both of you can feel it at this point. And then
I feel like Elena's gonna shed a tear from the left eye.
So yes, like around the group, or is she like trying to hide it?
I'm trying to hide it.
Okay, so yeah, she like, what's that over there? Yeah. So.
Because remember, I'm in the back of the carriage.
I meant this more as a reference to like campfire when he used the campfire.
Yes. Gotcha.
But it's the same thing either way. So. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Yeah. What the hell? Okay. That's a shame. Okay. Okay, so the second time, as Angana is playing, Alena, you can. It's the same, and Angana, it's the same feeling as the last time that Angana had played, where the energy in the air changes, and there's something about this time where both of you can feel this. I don't want to. Explosion is not quite the right word, but you can feel this building of energy in the very air around you, and then there's a sudden release, like there's a deflation of some pressure that you could feel increasing. Not like it was weighing you down, nothing like that, but it was there, and there's a sudden release as Angana is playing, and Angana feels compelled to try and sing, maybe not like operatic or anything like that, but he thinks maybe this phrase would go really well with this line, and whatever the phrase is, Angana's choice. Angana, I need you to roll a d4 and add your bards, I believe are charismatic spellcasters, so add your charisma modifier.
That is a 3, so plus 3, so 6.
And of the... Well, there's 6, 7 of you, so let's take Angene out of the roll. Karl. So not that Karl took any damage, but as Angene is playing this and he suddenly feels compelled to add some words to the song, he expresses himself in some way, and his violin or viola? Viola. His viola has, and his arm as well, they begin to have a similar soft glow before his viola takes on a more vibrant, like golden glow, as from the energy coming off, this now visible energy is emanating from the viola, is as he speaks the words, you can almost see it bond to words. Not that they would have an image that I could clearly describe here, but they wrap around something that emanates from Angene himself, and they float over towards Karl. And Karl, like, he would swear, like, he's seen healers before. My chair is squeaking. I gotta move this real quick. Karl has seen healers before, and he's familiar with the process. I don't know if Karl's ever been healed magically, but Angene knows. He just cast a spell. And for, just so Vinny knows, it was Healing Word at first level. So whatever Angene just did, you guys are able to discern that it would have healed Karl in some way. Like, oh. Okay.
I feel pretty good.
I kind of just, Angene kind of like looks at his arm, looks at the violin or the viola, and is just like, okay.
Is that new?
That's very new. And like, I'm just like, I'm gonna put this down now. He's like, okay, well, I'm not sure how to explain it, but I feel like I just cast a spell, which is like, what? And I look around and I'm like, is everybody okay? Like, is anybody hurt?
I feel pretty good.
Like, okay.
You don't look like a magic folk.
I don't feel like it, but then suddenly have a tattoo, and it was glowing, and my violin was glowing, and I feel like I just sent something out into the world, and I don't know how to describe it other than that.
Well, Angene, whatever it was beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
One of the most beautiful things I've ever heard.
Oh, shucks. Really nice of you, Alena.
Yeah, and so there's sort of not an uncomfortable silence, because, you know, there are still plenty of the ambient noises going on between the circadian rhythms of the insects, as well as just the natural sound of the breeze rolling through the trees of the surrounding areas. But it's a different atmosphere without Angene's music, at least as beautifully as he was playing it anyway. But over these days of this first part of the journey, you guys do find your rests and appreciation of the natural scenery, I suppose, is the next thing to say. And with that, we will enter the second part of the travel phase, days 5 to 9. So that would be the 19th to the 23rd, around that area. And was that Jake?
Harratuk.
Sure, yeah, make a perception check.
Okay. One plus one.
Okay, so Harratuk is in fact not doing a check. So that was a natural one. It sounded like it.
Mhm.
Very nice. The first commoner ones. Yes. So during the course of these 4 days of travel, as you guys continue through a lot of the same temperament, the same climate and atmosphere, where towards the beginning, Sindri would have been telling Harratuk like, it's not such a bad journey. There's lots of trees, and I get to witness all of these birds. And Harratuk's just like, I'm gonna go on the back, and I would. Oh, well. He like doesn't know what to do. Sure. Have a good trip. Has no idea what to say. So Harratuk climbs in the back with you guys, and it is just Sindri up top. So thus far, you guys have, since mostly everybody is together, at least in this cart, you guys can certainly hear each other in either cart that you're in. DeLorean has been very quiet. That much does not escape Harratuk's notice. Just what's going on around you escapes Harratuk's notice. And he's just been admiring the view for the duration of the trip, which has been almost a week at this point. He's engaged in very little conversation, hasn't asked anybody for help, and he's visibly not wanted to be like a hindrance on anybody. Trying to lighten the load as much as he could if you guys were packing or unpacking, whatever. But has been quiet and contemplative. And as you guys continue on, about day 8, let's call it, there is a very distinct... actually, there wouldn't be a distinct sound. So Sindri would call down to you guys. It's midday on the 8th day of your guys' travel outwards on the 22nd, I think it would be. Things might get a little rough here. We're about to cross a bridge. And
A bridge?
DeLorean kind of...
Oh.
Are we at the Kitwi River already?
River? Oh, okay.
And Sindri
All
calls.
right.
Yeah, Sindri calls down. Nearly approaching it now. Luckily, the waters are calm.
If there's like a cushion that I'm sitting on, or if there's like in the window, I am like white knuckle, like, okay, let's do this. Okay.
And
I'm gonna. Are you okay?
DeLorean,
Yeah. I just make sure that we stay on the bridge, please. Just don't let me anywhere near.
I'm gonna put my hand on one of his and just say, it's okay. We'll get through this together.
Okay.
And DeLorean, do you want us to stop?
We gotta keep moving. Is this the only way to go? Like, is there a way to go around the river?
And Sindri, you see him just peek down through the windows real quick, and no, I'm afraid this is the only way. Should we stop or? And you can hear it in his voice, we're kind of getting close.
I look out the window just to see what the bridge looks like. Does it look sturdy?
So I'll say, to maybe an architect or something, it would look totally fine. However, Angene is by no means a master of bridges or anything along those lines. It looks like so whenever you're on a hiking trail, anything just where it's walking only, and ever so infrequently they'll have these. They're pretty basic bridges, it's just to get you over a little water patch. But the construction is very simple, where it's just your support stones, you have your cross beams. I guess that would go forward, and then just the planks that line those. So this particular section of the river, I should say, is not it's not crazy rushing or crashing through, which is why I almost said that you guys could hear it, but you really can't because it's very even flowing down, and you guys can see it's flowing eastward back towards where you came from.
Okay.
But the bridge, it's definitely wide enough to accept the carriage, and the water is just flowing freely under it. It's a little high, and there are no there are no protective rails or anything on the sides. So
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
I just slam back into my seat, like, all right, just do it. Just be very, 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 very,
and right in the
careful.
middle of your varies, you can hear the change in terrain under the wheels from kind of rolling over ground gravel to that clunk 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 of the bridge.
And now he's just like sweat dripping down him, like his shirt is just engulfed in sweat, and he's just like, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, and DeLorean.
Elena's trying to calm him down.
Yeah, DeLorean he's trying to not look but can't look away. And what's over there? More river. It's not a river. It's more of a puddle, really.
And he's just got his eyes shut tight, just as white-knuckled, stiff as can be, and just not okay with what's going on right now.
Yeah. So to the rest of you, it's not a particularly long bridge. The river at this point is not rushing or crashing or anything along those lines, and it's really over before you know it. But for Angene, it probably feels like a solid hour to him, where he's just white knuckling. And as soon as Angene can, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just like, Angene, we're halfway. We're almost there.
That means we're in the deepest part.
Alena can see DeLorean trying to figure out what to say to help. Alana, you're doing very well. I think we're just about at the end now, aren't we?
Oh yes, we're just about to get off. Just keep your eyes closed. It'll just be about another second.
And
okay.
Chuck, as the ambient noise of the carriage hitting solid land again. I'm gonna probably borderline faints. You gain one level of exhaustion. Not really.
I just relax immediately. I'm just like, it's a good thing we didn't lose our cool back there.
I'm gonna take out a handkerchief and just start dabbing his forehead.
Yeah.
I'm just wiping the sweat, the copious amounts of sweat, and just flicking it off to the side, oh.
Yeah, those of you in the back carriage might get hit with a little bit of sweat.
I'm gonna sweat. Angene is just I'm really sorry, guys. I have a really hard time with running water. Just is very scary to me.
It's okay. We'll be there with you next time it happens again.
Oh, it's gonna happen again. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
No, I didn't mean that, Angene. It just we'll be with you. It'll be okay.
Okay. Thank you. Oh. And it just takes me a good 30 minutes to settle the fuck down.
Right, yeah, right. Karl, did I see he was going to say something?
Look, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop at the end.
It's not the sudden stop either. It's the flailing and the drowning. It's not... And I just become quiet as I just sit there thinking
Do you not know how to swim, Angene?
I can swim all right in standing water. And then I just wipe a tear from my eye And his birthday would have been 3 days ago.
His birthday?
My friend, when we were kids, we would play in the river near my home, and it had rained the night before, and there was snow melt, and there was a lot of water, and I told him not to go down it, but he went anyways, and he went down the rapids, and that was the last time I saw him. I don't know what happened to him. And I jumped in to try and get him, but I couldn't. And I barely got out of there myself, and I just can't. I don't like rivers. It's too dangerous.
Sorry to hear that, Angene. I promise you, if we ever are in the river, I'll make sure you don't go anywhere.
Thank you, Alena. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'll
watch out for you.
DeLorean, I think we would all help to step in a situation where, God's forbid, if anything were to happen, we would all come together. You would all come together as you have been doing this entire time, Angene.
Okay. And then, Angene just, leans his head back, and, 3 seconds later, I just pass out, not, faint status, but, it was too much emotion, and I just need a nap.
Yeah, and the rest of you can see the river fading away in the distance very quickly at this point. Yeah. So, is there anything Harratuk would want to do with that big fat natural one?
Yeah, I don't think I have much.
Okay. For part 3 of the journey, days 10 to 14, would anybody in particular like to be the observed one? Alena? Okay.
Yes.
Make that perception check. Try not to roll a 1.
Give me 1 second.
Challenge accepted.
Alrighty. Roll. You said perception?
Yep.
14.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes. So over the course of these days, as you guys are watching these mountains get closer and closer, minute by the minute, day by the day, they first come into view during this particular part of the journey, and then over these next few days is when they start to get closer, and when you guys really start to see the detail of the mountains come into focus. So Alena has seen the mountains probably from this distance, around this distance, most of her life, whereas Angene and Harratuk, and this is a new sight for Karl and Erevan entirely. Erevan maybe could see them in the distance, but certainly not this close. And Harratuk and Angene, this is it's probably comforting to know that you're moving towards something that you are at least somewhat familiar with, whereas at Aelwy Vale, it's like, I have no schema of references here. This is a little terrifying. Whereas now you're moving back into familiar territory, which is good, because familiar territory means home, and home could mean a lot of things. So during this particular journey, as you guys are approaching the mountains, those clouds you guys had seen race over you guys during the first part of the journey are starting to sort of meet and join around the mountain, sort of hiding its the frosted tops from your sight. As the weather turns from kind of like anywhere from 70s to 80s where you guys had been and sunny, it's now cloudy, and it's dropping to 60s, a little below 60s, so there's a definite chill in the air at this point. And Alena, as you are up front with Sindri, he's just, he's like twirling the strands. You guys have all but merged to become one with the beat of the horse tracks at this point. Alena looks out in the distance, and she can see these. You guys are coming from the east. So they across your vision, lengthwise, you can see these large somethings. They look to be almost solid black from this distance, but they are notably protruding above the ground, and you can see them spreading really as far as you can see in either direction. They're not moving in any way or shape or form, but they don't appear to be any kind of the natural terrain that you guys have seen thus far in the journey. But they're there.
Sindri.
And he's like,
in front of us, do you see those?
oh,
Black rock spears and coming from the ground?
those are railroad tracks. We're ahead of schedule. We're about at the halfway point at this part in the journey. Yeah.
What are railroad tracks?
Are you unfamiliar with trains?
Is Alena familiar with trains?
No.
I'm not sure what those are.
Oh, well, pardon my rudeness. Yes, of course. Trains are massive forms of transit that many people can climb aboard and take. Take my carriage, for example. I could fit 10, 12 people, perhaps, where trains could fit 20, 30, 40 or more aboard their cabins. They're large in construction, and they're pulled by a locomotive. It's really quite something.
What's a locomotive?
And he was gonna say something. I don't know if I could describe one in any great detail. We might see one. I'm not sure. But trains are. There's quite a lot of them within Fury Keep. Fury Keep has one of those blasted bureaucrats. The Bureau? Whatever it is. Many people, you can either buy your own trains and run them for public transit, or you can buy your own private I almost knocked over my water. Or you can buy them for private transit for your own sake. And as you guys approach the tracks, eventually, he starts pointing out the differences in the track. And there are maybe a half dozen different ones going. So you guys are right on top of it at this point, and he'll stop so you guys can. You guys have been stopping along the journey. This is just one of them that I'm explaining, where he'll let you guys stop. Stretch your legs, and he'll show you guys the tracks. So we are going straight towards Fury Keep, and there are tracks that we will meet back up with that go that way as well. However, these tracks here to the left, which for you guys go south, these go off to Onir Land. They circumvent the toxic wastes so that people may get there safely. And these trails here off to the right go to Dragon's Vale, another wonderful large city. Kyle, did you step away? Okay, I think you did.
No, sorry, I'm blowing my nose.
Oh, you're good. Okay. So to the left is Onorland, Oinorland, and then to the right is Dragon's Vale, which I would hope you guys could spell. And we are going straight to Fury Keep. And we may be seeing more of the main travel at this point, so that'll be a welcome change of pace as we see humanity once again. It's been almost 2 weeks. But nevertheless, if we're all ready to continue again, we must push on.
before, like, I'm gonna kind of take my time getting back on to the cart. I just kind of discreetly, my left eye is gonna flash silver, and I'm gonna pull out the Mark of the Crown, and I just want to look at the party, and just kind of see what I see.
Yeah. So, if anyone. Okay, yeah. So yeah, if anyone like
I want to try and do this discreetly as I can, but
okay, make a stealth check. And don't worry about the disadvantage because your armor. You can just because this is like hand motion. You can just make your regular stealth check.
It'd be 22.
Yes. So, Alena finds a moment where Sindri is describing the train tracks to Angene or Karl, whoever would want to know about them. DeLorean is off relieving himself. And Alena appears that Karl is doing his own thing. Angene is doing his own thing. Erevan seems to be doing his own thing. There's just a quick moment where Harratuk and you just lock eyes through the eye of the crown, and then he wanders off and does something else. But yeah, he didn't look at you kind of like, what are you doing? He looked directly at you. Okay. And now, whether Harratuk recognized that is, I guess, would be up to Jake, because none of you went into like your dreams or what happened. Harratuk has no idea what Alena saw, or knows, I suppose. So Jake can determine for Harratuk if he would like, why would you look at me like that? Or if he just, oh, Elena's kind of weird. She just got like 6 inches taller, so that could be a weird thing. Up to you. Anything else, Kyle?
Nope. That'll be it.
Okay. And
just wanted to try that.
As you guys are boarding up again and safely cross over the railroads, which do have those, I don't know what they're called, but they're those wooden like raises so vehicles can get over tracks perfectly fine, whatever they're called. Sindri navigates you guys over those. And in time, you guys do start to feel this rumbling in the ground. And Sindri, if Alena is still sitting with him, he'll get a little excited and he'll stop the horses again, and he'll like yell down into the cabins, if any of you were curious, excuse me, sorry, there is a train coming. And sorry. Sindri yells down to you guys and lets you know that there's a train coming. And so for anyone who would want to peer out and gaze at this, you guys do see that there is this massive feat of engineering on wheels roll by in its massive black with its massive black cabin and its engine. As you guys, whoever's up front, can see a couple guys like just actively shoveling what and to where, you're not really sure, but this massive plume of black smoke that towers out of the front of this thing as it pushes down the tracks. And there are, I think I said 5 cabins on this one. I can't quickly find it. I believe it's supposed to be 5. So Sindri explains that just by looking at these particular cars, he knows that these all, save for one, are public transport, and he points out how he can tell. So as the engine rolls by and its 5 following train cars, he points out that you guys can see these cars are 40 feet long each and about 20 feet wide. That of the first 4, they all have large square windows that you can clearly see whoever's within. as they roll by. And some people like wave, but they're moving really too fast to discern a specific face or two.
Mm-hmm.
And they're shaded, and you guys are in the bright sun. And he points out that the ones with large windows, you guys can see that there are chairs like back to back to back to back to back, end of the car to the front of the car, and they just whoever can fit until it's full, they get to go. And towards the back, the very last car, he says, now that's a private car that anybody can buy, and you can, as long as you work with the scheduling of the bureau within Fury Keep, you can attach your train to wherever it's going, and they'll hook it up for you, and you guys can travel that way. And the rear car does not have those same large windows. He points out that the few windows you can see are for private rooms or for the private party within its cabin, and that there are likely beds inside, maybe a table. There's a variety of assortments that people equip these trains with to make their travel catered to them and as comfortable as possible to them. But he describes that anybody can buy a train car of that size, or smaller, or larger for the luxurious kind, and that there are a number of fittings for them.
I'm gonna just kind of looks out like, whoa, trains are cool.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yep. But hey, that's enough gawking. We gotta go. And he tries to hurry you guys all back aboard the Jake, what did you call it? Carriagey McCarriage or something? Yeah.
Carriage face.
he shovels you guys all back aboard Carriage McCarriage face. Yep. And oh, I forgot about this. I'm really excited for this. So this will be after the train travel within the last bit of the last day for this part of the journey, since Alena is with Sindri anyway. So he's returned to his lackadaisical positioning. Air is getting colder for you guys, and he tries to warm himself up a little bit, and you hear this little crinkle of paper. And you can audibly hear him like being confused. Oh, so does he know your name is? I think he knows you're Alena. But he'll get your attention, Alena, and he'll hand you just this little parcel, little folded piece of paper, and it has. Oh shoot! Hold on, let me look something up real quick. I believe blue, but I want to make sure because it's really, really funny. Yes. So this letter is wax sealed with, you know, Sindri's mark at this point. It is his family crest.
Oh.
It is sealed with a very rich and vibrant blue wax, which waxes when mailing things with wax was the thing to do. Different colors of wax actually connotated different things. So white was often like celebration, weddings. Pink, I believe, was... Let me look this up because I really want to get it right. Red was like the standard. Like if you mail whatever, you can do it with red. And that's like where your family crest will be. Pink was praise and congratulations. Green meant like friendly correspondence. Black is like there's been a death in the family. And if you are not supposed to use black outside that context because you would scare somebody. And blue is romance and passion. The richer the blue, the stronger the feelings being conveyed. And so...
What does Ulov got to say? Let's go.
I'm sending this to Kyle. So I will... I'll put up my right monitor here, so... Actually, no, I don't want to do that.
Let's make this clear. I love Ula like a brother.
He's been bro-zoned.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
So for some reason, copying it from my notes to Discord is treating the entire text section as an image rather than text. Aha! But I can paste it to Notepad and get that text outright. So let me get that to you, Kyle. So, Kyle, it is your choice if you want to read this aloud or whatever. Sindri does not make a big deal of it to anybody in any way, but it is just to you. And he acts like he doesn't know what it says. But yes, it is from Ula. And
Ted Orin.
yes, I did. That's his name.
Orin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ula?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ula is his nickname.
I
Yeah.
must have missed that.
it was a very small moment. I didn't call very much attention to it.
Gotcha.
So as Kyle reads over that part, for the final bout of the journey, days 15 to 18. So you guys are approaching July at this point in game time. Would anybody like to take watch? Or
I
just
will.
sit with...
So I can too.
There's room for all three of you, yeah. So Karl, Angene, and Erevan are all really excited for this last bit of the journey. They know it's coming to a close. All three of you, just roll perceptions. We'll see if anybody gets a 20. I had a lot of fun writing that, Kyle.
16.
Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah, I don't see shit. I'm just looking out and about.
Is it a 1?
17.
A 6.
A 6, okay. Yeah, so Erevan is up front with Sindri and chatting him up, whatever, or maybe just cleaning, maybe just keeping his flintlock clean, whatever. But not super paying attention. Just wanted to have a change of scenery and be outside for a bit. And Angene and Karl were in the back row, just everybody's chatting it up. Oh no. Okay. Okay, this will be super interesting. So, as you guys are pushing continuously closer and closer to Fury Keep and the mountain, the Drake Crag Mountains, as Sindri calls them, the majesty of Camarilla, the wind turns very cold, like 40s, and it's very windy. It's not snowing, but you guys can very clearly see that this is where all of the clouds have not coagulated, have coalesced themselves. And and Karl is, but you know, with an Irish accent. And from where you guys are in this part of the journey, the mountains are, they're called the Majesty of Camarilla for this reason. You can see them in exquisite detail, even from the distance that you are from them. And where Fury Keep has dug its home in the side of the mountain and sort of to its edge is also starting to become clear from this point. So, where you guys are, I suppose Sindri would know. Yeah, because he did. He checked in on you, Angene. So, Sindri, he's still just like letting the carriage do what it does. And he puts one arm back and just looks up at you. We're coming to the Kidwee River once more. There's another crossing. And he gestures towards the mountains. Much of the snowfall here generates a great deal of rushing water, so it will be loud. The waves crash rather violently, although and he stresses, we will be very safe. We will be perfectly safe on the carriage and over this bridge.
And I'm gonna just kind of okay, all right. He's already gripping the shit out of his little seat and everything. All right, sure, yeah, cool, okay.
And he'll ask, would you like to go back inside, or you certainly don't have to.
Nope, I'm just going to close my eyes and pretend that this isn't happening.
Sindri looks at you, Karl, good luck, you know.
Nothing could go wrong at all.
Remember, it's not the fall. um, yes, so as you guys are continually pushing towards this mountain, Angene can hear it from quite the distance away. He can't even see the bridge at this point. But as you guys are continuously moving forward, there are people who begin to join you guys on this journey. As you can see roads that have kind of come from all these different directions. You can see people taking those roads outwards, as well as people coming in from those roads and joining next to you guys. Some have their own carriages, some are just walking. Everybody coming in looking absolutely tired and just worn out. But above the crowds of people who are walking and talking along with you guys now, which are notably almost all of them are, all of them that you are able to see are humanoid with, I believe the higher roll was a 16. So Harratuk, he doesn't see any kind of, and Angene do not see any of the more beast folk line of races. It's mostly humanoid, and you know the gnomes, the shorter stature people, mostly of that breakdown. And above the crowds, Angene can start to hear the crashing of water. And Angene, make a Constitution save. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We can keep going.
I got you.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Constitution. Save. 15.
Okay. And you had a little rapscallion sneak in behind you. Yeah, so as you guys are traveling along, Angene is definitely brought back to the day where it happened. But because he's pretty well found his resolve for at least this part of the journey. You know, he had some help from Alena. Her encouraging words are coming back to him again. Like, all right, this is terrifying. He's sweating again. But
Does Alena see this at all?
She would know.
Okay.
She would know.
Then yeah. I'll be by his side.
Okay. It's a little tight in the top seat, but I think if
We're behind. Like if I can get a hand on him.
Yeah, the top of the carriage is not made to be stood on. Like Alena can kind of feel there's some give in the flimsiness of the construction material, but she can stand on the edge.
I am.
It's flimsy. It's flimsy. Now Harratuk, he might break it. Yeah. But no, there's enough space to where, as long as Alena is grabbing the bench or something, she'll be okay. And
I just want him to know that I'm there for him.
Yeah. And so as the crashing begins to pick up, as you guys approach this, and the ground here is a little frosted over. There is some snow along the trail as you guys are heading towards the town. And then again, Angene can feel that where it was wheels in sort of mushy, muddy snow, this like sleet mix, he can hear the change in texture and feeling as the cluck, 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 cluck takes back in, as he knows that now they're over the bridge. And this section of the bridge, the rocks are snow-covered, and the water is frozen in some places, but not enough to stop a raging river. This is like White Rapids territory in terms of the power that the water has generated from the water, from all of the water that falls from the mountains. Even at this distance, how far you guys are out, just the power that flows through the waters. And Alena, Karl, Erevan, you guys, the people around you, they don't seem to notice. Seems like just any other day to them, crossing this bridge in particular. But for Angene, vivid flashbacks, to say the least. But this too finds its end. And as you guys eventually meet at the end of the bridge, you can still hear those waters crashing in the background, but for Angene, it's like every time he counts to 5, or if he mentally reviews his favorite songs that he heard from his mother, either singing or playing, whatever. Sorry, hold on. The songs that Angene can play back from hearing from his Mother's Day, every time he sort of comes back to reality, the river is further away, and further away, and further away. Until he's not really sure if it's the river he can hear, or if it's the people that are walking next to him talking, and then he's, in time, is assuredly, it is the people talking. And as you guys approach the last few days of the journey, the first, I don't want to say non-humanoid, because they're still humanoid in terms of how they walk, but they are not they're not a fleshy race. But towards the last day, you guys see this trope of creatures that you've never seen before. Their skin is this, excuse me. Their skin is this light blue coloration, and many of them seem to be, oh, actually, I guess their skin wouldn't be exposed. They are, okay, so let me retcon that a little bit. These individuals that you can see walking up with the rest are significantly more covered than the rest in terms of, like, they are not showing very much of their skin, if any. The only skin of theirs that you can see would be in their face. Everything else is covered. And from what you can see, they seem to have this light blue skin. And they appear to be diligently and carefully wiping a cloth over their face. Anytime snow is to hit or make contact with their skin, as you see it, they make sure to wipe it away. And I think it was a 60 perception check. You can hear them kind of chatting amongst themselves. You can hear them talking, but it's a language absolutely none of you are able to discern. And there does eventually come a time where there are some people who you guys are very familiar with, like a mocking tone at this point, not coming from them, but towards them, and it is treated as a derogatory context. You guys can hear some people talking to each other. Oh, great. It's the fish people. That's just what we need, more of them around here. And the fish people, they can't hear it at all. The bits of them that you can make out, just a completely unfamiliar language. But as you approach, they seem to be incredibly, just as excited as all of you are to damn near finally have arrived to Fury Keep. And the closer you guys get, the more you see of something that you haven't seen for a while. I think any of you outside Illui Vale is a singularly uniformed and clearly presented guard force. They are in very heavy armor as they line the road towards Fury Keep. Many of them have deep emerald greens with sort of a smoky gray trim to their armor outlines. And Sindri he's like getting his second wind. He's like, oh, we made it, you know? Oh man, that's one more journey for the books. It's a long journey and it's kind of boring, but there's also never a guarantee that you're going to make it, you know what I mean? And so he points them out. He doesn't know them by name or anything, but he goes, these are the Masonic defenders of Fury Keep. We will probably have more than a few run-ins with them, to say the least.
Hey, Joe, my internet went out for a minute or two.
Mhm.
So I don't know what went on after we crossed the bridge.
Okay, yeah, there was just a quick recap. There was a troop of an unfamiliar race that nobody really knows. They've got like a blue skin to them. They are obviously like constantly dabbing themselves with cloth, which is an odd thing to do in the winter. And they get like some jeers from other people in the crowd called fish people and things along those lines, and that they shouldn't belong here. But other than that, there was no interaction between them and your group. And then just this past minute, you guys have seen the first sightings of the Guard of Fury Keep, the Masonic Defenders.
Gotcha.
Oh, I actually did not. I forgot to ask. During the journey, Alena, when it was your watch at the top of the... Oh, Matt, you falling asleep? Okay. I couldn't tell. You're like, I was losing you.
No.
When Alena was on the top of the carriage, or at night even, it doesn't really matter. Was there any particular person she would want to interact with, or any RP event she would want to lead at that time?
Not yet. Based off of what she gathered from the Mark of the Crown, she's going to take a little bit more of an interest into what Harratuk is doing. But other than that, right now, I'm just kind of keep that kind of stuff on the down low.
An empty book.
Yeah.
You can't get nothing out of me.
I know you're hiding something. No, just for the most part, just kind of chilling with the party.
Yeah, and as far as Alena watching Harratuk, he doesn't do anything out of what she had first seen him doing, like when they first met him, or along this journey thus far. He's just like everybody else, just hanging out for the journey.
Okay.
And I meant to ask this during the journey. I forgot. Sorry. Angene, are there any individual moments that he would want to... and this, since you guys are at Fury Keep, this will be the end of the episode, so if there's anything that Angene wants to do, either along the journey or once they're at Fury Keep, before you guys get to the gates.
Angene he would play his music still, but just definitely not experimenting at this time.
The more familiar songs.
Yeah, just songs that he knows, that he knew from before, and he plays his mother's song a couple times, and yeah.
Okay. He can. So you and Alena can still definitely feel a very similar change to what you felt before, but around Fury Keep, it's different. The flow of the energy that you can feel as a result of this, it feels more stable, whereas kind of out in the outskirts of no man's land, really, the introduction of that energy created something, and it not violently, but it created something. And here, that same energy feels much more in a constant flux, rather than some rapid shifting element, which is kind of opposed to what the rivers were doing, where the first one was rather calm, and even flowing, and the second one was violently crashing. But okay, Erevan, any particular individual he would want to talk to, or anything he would want to bring up to the group? I think I heard no.
No, I don't think. I think he'd just be kind of chilling still.
Okay.
Kind of just looking at his pistol and everything, and just kind of like taking that and his surroundings in for now.
Yeah, this is This is a big change for Erevan. Maybe somewhere in his father's stories he's heard... well, not even maybe. He knows he's heard of his father's adventures like around the Drake Crag Mountains and in whatever towns or jungles he might have found himself in. And Erevan kind of has this moment of like deeper connection with this fabled adventure he's always wanted to be a part of. Yeah, very cool. Harratuk, any is there anybody in the party that he would want to have like a one-on-one with, or any kind of conversation he would want to bring up to the group?
No, but when we stop, I walk out, just like a safe distance, and I just swing my axe at like in the air or at tree stumps, just to hack.
Like when you arrive at Fury Keep, or like on the journey there?
I meant on the when we were stopping, like for food or whatever.
Okay, okay, during the breaks and stuff. Yeah, okay, now I gotcha. Yeah, so...
nothing else.
Okay, yeah, so in those moments, when you guys were stopping and resting hard, let me look that real quick. God, I love having a snappy computer. Like, oh my god. He has a great axe, so he's got the big boy. Yeah, so you guys seeing this massive, like this hulking furry fortress with this now equally devastating looking weapon. He wields this thing like you guys would wield a dagger or a short sword even. It's effortless for Harratuk. It's a little, like you guys with your newfound weapons, it can be a little choppy in some swings, but he focuses and marshals his talents. Next cut is perfectly clean, and he continues to practice with it. It's more than a little impressive to see this display of strength, even if it's brutal rather than more elegant or suave, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. It's really cool that you're seeing his physical strength in this way. Karl, anything with the team?
No, just taking in, like I said, the new scenery. Glad to be back towards the mountains. Or just glad to be at the destination finally.
Yeah, and Karl, man, this is all he could like. He could almost like just eyeball the distance, like to the top of the mountain, or at least to the cloud cover. Like, I have definitely dug that low before. It's really weird. Like it's just this almost like I don't know the clinical term for like a fear of heights, and this is not agoraphobia, but it's like a fear of witnessing heights almost, where most people are afraid to be looking down, and Karl has this weird, no pun intended, like feeling dwarfed by the size of this mountain. Like, okay, don't know how I feel about this.
Kind of bringing me back to my dream.
Megalophobia
is
fear of large objects. Sorry, Karl.
That's a thing. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I wouldn't say Karl. I wouldn't say he's like petrified of it or anything. But it's, yeah, maybe it harkens back to his dream. Maybe there's something of value up at the top. He's not sure. But as you guys all arrive towards Fury Keep, Session 12, we will begin at the gates on in-game date, Friday, July 2nd.
So May to July?
June.
You guys were in June. You guys were in June.
Yeah.
Have I been saying May?
Yeah. So June to July.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been saying May. All my notes are wrong, Joe.
I feel like I have.
It's the last major date.
Well, okay. I think
Time is hard.
I have it down as June. Anyways,
I feel like I have been saying May. Why? I don't. Maybe because it is May. Maybe because every time I'm looking at my clock.
It's gonna be May.
The
Like
campaign.
May 14th to the 18th.
Okay, my bad.
No, that's good.
I said Monday. I meant to say Monday the 14th, and I got caught up in.
No, it's fine.
The campaign thus far has taken place only in June. And the entire time it has been in June. I should have made that more clear. The session today started at Monday the 14th of June, and you guys are arriving in Fury Keep the 2nd of July. Yeah, sorry about that.
If you guys want to hear the love letter from Ula, I can read that now.
Let it rip.
All right.
do it.
It says to
Wait,
the
is
lovely.
this in game?
Oh, yeah, is Alena
No.
reading the letter to
Well,
them?
I can read it in game, or I
It's
can
up to
read
you.
it. I
Just
don't
meta.
It doesn't matter to me. But
It's too meta.
either way, to the lovely Alena, shall I compare thee to a summer's day, the way your hair falls as it may, the beauty in your eye, your hair of rye, oh, be there any more entranced than I? I hope this note finds you well. Father said I looked sad lately, and said that I should write you something nice to help me cape. Alena knows that he meant cope. I asked Father to give it to you if you look down or maybe just needed a smile. I'm going to miss you and your friends when you leave. You're the nicest people I've ever met, and it would mean a lot if I could see you again someday. Father said you were the adventuring type and may not visit for a long time, and I understand. So I hope wherever you go, you are safe and will think of me sometimes when you're sad, because I will think of you when I'm sad. Anyway, Father says not to write too much, because absinthe, he means absence, makes the heart grow fonder. Be really, really careful out there, Orin.
I love Ula. He's such a fun character.
Oh,
That's
Ula.
great.
Yeah, just like a choppy attempt at like poetry. and I'll miss you later. Like that's just what he wanted to write. But yeah, so let me check something really quick as far as the sessions go. So session 12, you guys will pick up at Fury Keep, obviously. And then, what else did I want to say? Kyle, I know you already said you will not be there for 12.
That's real world June 4th, correct? Is when we're that one's planned.
In 2 weeks, it is the 4th.
So that's
of
2 weeks.
June.
Yeah, it's my sister's wedding, so
Oh,
probably
yeah.
shouldn't play.
Courtney's birthday is the 5th, so that date might be tentative at best.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me say goodbye to the stream, and then we'll schedule things there.
Cool.
To the stream, Viking, as always, thank you so much for contributing to the way that you do. It means a lot for me and for everyone here. These guys, minus Kyle and maybe Matt, we'll find out. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Group 2 will be back for their first episode as commoners on next Friday.
That's
It'll be another.
non-commoners.
Non-minors.
I guess now we know why I confused May. They'll be back next week as not commoners. They will be their class for their travel episode to Cardi, the military city on the coast of the Northwest. Thank you to everybody else who stopped by. Hope you have a good ass night, and this will be on YouTube in a few minutes. From now, later.